Small businesses power economies. They create jobs, they strengthen communities. Yet many promising entrepreneurs, particularly women, continue to face barriers in accessing finance, markets, mentorships, and even the networks needed to grow. Now, what would it take to build an ecosystem where opportunity is not determined by circumstance, but by potential? Hello, I'm Ruth Joshua, and this is EmpowHer. Joining me to discuss this issue today is Yemisi Ajeojo. She is a social entrepreneur, business strategist, and ecosystem builder whose work focuses on expanding opportunities for entrepreneurs, particularly women and young people. She is the founder and chief executive officer of Thrift Africa, a social enterprise committed to helping underserved businesses access finance, mentorship, and the support they need to grow. She's also the founder of Idea to Funded, an account BPO, an innovation and management consultancy that works with organizations and entrepreneurs to drive business growth and sustainable impact. Beyond her entrepreneurial work, Yemisi is a World Economic Forum global shaper and has collaborated with public, private, and development organizations across Africa to strengthen entrepreneurship, improve financial inclusive pathways for economic opportunity. It's such a pleasure to have you in the studio, Yemisi.
Thank you for
I
having
have
me.
really been looking forward to this conversation.
We have to cross several mountains
I
and
know,
seven seas.
but finally we're here.
Yes,
It's such a
yes.
pleasure to
Thank
have you.
you.
This
Yes.
is one conversation that, sits on the minds of many Nigerian youths. So I'm glad that we get the opportunity to dissect it. And I'm glad
Yeah.
we're doing it with you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right. So let's dive straight into it. So across your work, I'm able to see that consistently you're sitting, at the intersection of entrepreneurship and opportunity and inclusion. Now, I want to hear directly from you. Where did that passion come from?
Wow. It's so interesting because just before coming here, I just signed like a new contract and program clients.
Okay,
And one of
congratulations.
the core things would be enabling access to finance for 135,000 farmers across Nigeria.
Yeah.
And 50% of those is women. So as we are reading it, I too was drawing the pattern.
Yes.
Where did the passion come from? I think it was just wanting to make a change and doing something, anything. So I won't say the word restless, but I like to solve problems.
Nice.
I was having a conversation with my friend yesterday, and she was
Yeah.
saying how, I really like work, and I like, I just throw myself into work. So wherever I find myself, it's always, what is the problem here that I can solve? And how can I solve it with whatever resource, no matter how small, even when I was a student, when I was a core member. And I think that all of those solving problems, no matter how small, accumulated into this big career where I'm working with for-profit, non-profit, and government organizations to strengthen entrepreneurship and enable access to finance across Africa. So it came from solving small problems. Which then built into a bigger career.
Oh, that's so inspiring because, like, some of the time, most often than not, by the time your heart is in what you're trying to do, I think it's always easier to be able to achieve what you're trying to do. So somehow you've just mentioned that it's not even as if you went into it, okay, this is a career or something. You just, it was something you wanted to do, you started and you just kept going. That's really inspiring, something to really look on to. But now entrepreneurs, just like you mentioned, you enjoy helping entrepreneurs. So let's go into entrepreneurship. Your businesses like Thrift Africa, you're able to include or say, give access to finance to certain entrepreneurs and all of that. Can you tell me what the criteria is for these businesses to qualify, to get funding? When you look at a business, what prospects do you see that help you to say, okay, this business is worth investing in? Because these things, I'm sure that there's a way that you choose. It's not just every business, right?
Yes.
Please.
Okay. Criteria that influences whether or not a business is invested into depends on the kind of funding that they're looking for and what they do. So those are the key things and what stage their business is. So I've enabled access to funding, grants, loan, equity investments. The criteria are usually very different, and the core thing is also what is the investor looking for. One of the key things that I'll typically say when somebody's trying to get funding is you have a need that your business needs to solve with capital. The investor is giving you money, whether it is grant, equity, loan. That investor is also making a business decision in your business. So a lot of people just think, oh, I need grants, I've been applying, I didn't get, these people don't like me, they don't like women. But then when you sit back, you realize the person has not built a good business case for the investor, right? To see that this is a vibe, this is something that I want to give you money for. You need a track record. Yes. So one of the core things is to remember that as your business grows, or even when you start up that business, the earlier you stop seeing it as just a passion project or a side hustle, but a proper enterprise, and then intentionally build the right business and financial management structures around it, the better and easier it is to get investments. So when it comes to financial management, for instance, that's one of the biggest hindrances that stop people from accessing funding, whether it is grants, whether it is loan or equity investment. And that is where perhaps accelerator programs and capacity building programs come in. Because now they're able to help the businesses have the right knowledge, but about how to operate the business and how to also manage their books, manage their finances, things, very simple things like having a separate account for your business and your personal use, a proper financial analysis, understanding what your numbers mean. So not just keeping record, but able to use,
you're able to interpret it.
Yes, use them to make decisions. So that was even one of the reasons why we started Account BPO. Will be maybe a year in like a month. The thing is, I was doing a lot of work enabling access to finance, and one of the biggest hindrances was just poor financial management. You're a business owner. You're already doing a lot of things. You're managing people, you're doing marketing, you're thinking of products. So there's also a good chance that you may not have the time to be doing your books or to be looking at the numbers. So what Account BPO does is train young people and women who are able to provide accounting, data entry, and financial management services to businesses, whether startups or NGOs. That way, yes, as a business owner, you should know your numbers, but you don't have to be immersed in it day by day because we've got that sorted for you. So now you have your books in order, you're able to make data-driven decisions, and you're also able to get funding. Another thing I'll typically look at, apart from your financial management structures and what your number is saying, is what have you done in the past? And what has been the effect of what you've done. So even if you're just starting a business today and you're looking for a grant, I want to know, what have you done? Maybe not as a business, but what have you done for someone else?
What impact have you created?
If you worked somewhere else, what did you do there? What did you learn?
Because we need some form, we need to establish a form of credibility.
Capital, exactly. So social capital is a form of capital as well that you can now use to leverage other forms of capital, right? So like now, if I want to raise 100 million naira, I will most likely not have that money in my account, but I'll have people who I can speak to, and they can say, oh, I can vouch for her because she did X, Y, Z. So what social capital do you already have? Then the third thing would be, how committed are you to this business? If I give you the money, what are the chances or trends that show me that you commit to it or you jack my hair? So those are like the kind of things that I'll typically look out for. Also, your online presence. I recently wrapped up a financial management training for the women on the Revel program by AfriLabs and Visa Foundation. And I think that people don't realize how much like somebody trusts you and gives you access to opportunities based off what you are showing them online. What are you talking about? Who are you engaging with? How are you engaging with people? So I think that even falls back to social capital as well. I know people who have gotten grants that they did not apply for, but the funder had money that they needed to disburse, and they found them on LinkedIn and connected with them.
Can
And this is grant worth
imagine,
tens of thousands of dollars. So we're in the digital age. I know that
Exactly.
people say, oh, I don't like social media. I am. This one is do as I say, not do as I do, because my social media presence as well needs a lot of work. But it definitely helps as well to curate that public persona, yes. And that gets you to connect with people that you don't even know exist, who are able to fund your business.
That's really commendable. And talking about account funded, because account BPO rather, forgive me.
Okay.
It's bridging a major gap.
Yeah.
Because imagine having access to, you know, funding. What makes it sustainable?
Yes.
I think that's where account BPO comes in, because it's driving sustainability.
Yes.
But then another key issue, as important as funding is implementation, which you kind of touched on. But also, I just want us to hear directly, how do you ensure implementation in these businesses that you're funding?
Okay, so my work is two-faced. There's work that I do with business owners directly. So maybe they employ me as their CFO or their accountant or their business advisor, or the person helping them become investment ready. Then there is work that I do for institutions, so governments, DFIs, donor agencies, to design programs or evaluate programs that bridges the gap for business owners to access funding. So your question is around how do I, so that is with the work that I do with the institutions, right? So it's going to be in the design of the program and in how you enable access to financing. So there is something that people always say, and I'm sure that it might cost a bit of ruckus if I say it here, but they say women founders are underfunded and over-mentored. I 100% agree with the underfunded part, but we will always need, we're not over-mentored, we always need that capacity building. We would always need that support, that hand-holding, because a lot of people start off their businesses with just a lot of passion and access to maybe market, but they need that system to ensure that it's even sustainable on its own without external funding or donor funding. So that is where program design comes in, especially program design that enables access to financing. Based on this business profile, what are the core things that they need? How do we measure how much money they need? And how do we structure the funding for them? So a lot of funding might not come in sending cash to your bank account. It can come in equipment financing. It can come in covering your operational expenses, buying raw materials, even something as small as providing a space like this for a business to work out of, or connecting them with staff. There was a program that I was aware of where it was matching them with staff, right? So they would have trained and curated a number of people that you can then pick out of
easily
a pool.
Just
that means that you can scale, you can build. That may not be direct capital in the bank, but it's also a form of financing because it enables you to grow. It even saves you the cost of having to hire. So financing that does not always include just capital, or is structured in a way that is milestone based. So for instance, on this program, you're supposed to get 100 million naira, but you get 10 million naira first. And by this milestone, you get another. So those are kind of ways that you kind of structure, ensure implementation. And then providing advisory. So it's very easy to give money. Giving money is even the easiest part of it. But like what you've mentioned, the implementation. So one way to ensure proper implementation is providing advisory or oversight support, especially if you don't just want to give money, but you want to ensure that long-term impact of profitability
which
and
is even key.
Exactly. So that's where the accelerator part of programs come from. One of the best programs that I've been a part of recently is the WORD program. It's by the World Trade Organization, ITC, the UN. It's across 3 countries. In Nigeria, they've partnered with NEPC as well. Fantastic structure in terms of funding. So about 140 women will be getting up to $30,000 each, as well as 1 year of mentorship and oversight.
Such good news.
So we are wrapping up the program now. We've been on it since last year. Now we are wrapping up. But think about, like, people are not just getting this amount of money, maybe $5,000 or $30,000, depending on the category of businesses, but they have a business advisor that can provide oversight, that can handhold them, that they have to be accountable to. So even when the funding period is over, you've ensured that you've built strong structures and systems that will ensure that the businesses continue
sustainable.
to succeed.
I think this is the third time in this episode that I'm going to say, this is commendable. Yes, this is the third time I'm actually going to say that, because it's a robust approach. Very holistic from start to finish. I don't hear a point where they're saying, oh, we're leaving the people at this point. Oh, we just give you the money and leave. Because the truth is accountability matters, especially for small businesses. It's easy to start. You face a challenge, you decide, you know what, I'm not doing it anymore. So the robust approach is really, really commendable. But we'll pick this up. Let's go on a break. If you're following this conversation, you can see that you do not want to miss whatever is coming after the break. So please stay with us.
To us women, they said, wait. We said, now. They told us that the sky was the limit, so we looked up and realized there are footprints on the moon. For generations, we have been the backbone of culture, the heartbeat of revolution, the architects of our societies. Today, we aren't just surviving history, we are shaping it, shifting culture, lifting communities, shattering barriers, rewriting the rules. We are the unstoppable forces of our communities, amplifying our own voices, our brilliance, our boldness with unapologetic power. Every story matters, every achievement counts, every voice has power. This is for the disruptors, the gladiators, the ladies, the mothers, the leaders, the visionaries, shaking the very foundations of the status quo. No more whispers, no more waiting. We own our fears. Welcome to the movement. This is EmpowHer.
Thank you for staying put. If you're just joining us, this is EmpowHer, and we have Yemisi Ajeojo here in the studio where we're discussing empowerment and inclusion. Thank you, Yemisi, for staying put. So taking this back from where we had left just before the break, we had discussed implementation across, and the robust approaches that you have towards businesses. But after all of this, what does success look like? How do you measure success too? How do you know, or at what point of business do you see, or do you sit to think, this is a successful project. We have gotten, what we were looking for. We've gotten to the point where we're looking for. What metrics do you look out for?
Okay, so that question is almost like a three-part answer.
Okay.
So I design and implement programs or evaluate programs by government agencies, donors, DFIs.
Yeah.
What success will look like will typically depend on what their objective is. So I've done programs that the goal is to ensure that people are ready to access funding.
Okay.
The success on that program would be that how many businesses are investment ready or even access funding during the duration of training. The WED program that I mentioned, the goal is to ensure that women entrepreneurs are able to export and have built structures that enable sustainability and profitability. So my objective would be, or my task would be, what would this look like at the end of this year for this business to be export ready? There are programs where the objective is to create jobs. We want this person to be so resilient and profitable that they are now able to create even more jobs for maybe people with disability, or for women, or for young people. So that would be the success metrics. The second layer of success metric is, where is this business right now and where can they potentially be? Right? And how can I support them to ensure that they get there within a specific time frame? So I've done programs for, say, the MasterCard CC Hub Fast program, where the goal is to support this business in the next 4 weeks to launch their idea, to be ready to launch their idea. So now they have an idea. So the goal is, at the end of the 4 weeks, is this business ready to launch the idea? Or over the next 4 weeks, support them to strengthen their ability to grow. My goal at the end of the 4 weeks, looking at this business, have I provided the right support that puts them on the path to growth? Because I mean, they can't, I've seen people who have done tremendous work, like my last cohort, fantastic ladies. I speak so highly of them, right? But for some others, it is, you've done the work, now it's time for them to implement, and you may not see that growth in the next 6 months or the next 3 months. But where is this business now? Where can they potentially be? And what is your support supposed to create for them to push them closer, or to even take them right where they would potentially be? For me personally, my biggest goal right now, my biggest success metric for programs that I'm on or businesses that I work with, is job creation. I think that having work is such a dignifying thing, and enabling more businesses to succeed means that we're able to create more jobs, enable them to create more jobs. So this business that I'm working with, in the next 1 year, in the next 3 months, how many jobs would they be able to create? And not just creating jobs for slave master's sake, but that they're able to give them defined roles. You know, when people work with you, even younger staff, they get to learn, they get to earn, and then build a decent life for themselves. Also, how many businesses am I able to enable access funding or financing, right? So how does my work enable more businesses to access financing? So those are like typical personal growth success metrics that I target.
And I totally agree with job creation. I personally, agree that job creation has, entrepreneurship, job creation, it has a ripple effect. It has a ripple effect. It affects, or it touches different lives. Brings different people together. So it's not a thing of just you. It's not a thing of your business. You're now creating empowerment across the line.
No, I'm a big, because I've seen my team for my own company. We're now about 20 people. We're a very young team. I think I'm probably the oldest.
Really?
I think.
And
and I'm not even that old yet. So we have advisors and boards and people who work with us. But one of the things that have given me personal satisfaction is seeing someone maybe fresh out of school who has been job hunting and did not, I've had people work with us and say, oh, before I joined your team, I was very suicidal because I did not see any hope or any future, and I wasn't even sure of myself and what I wanted to do. And then they join your team, obviously rough on the edges in the first few weeks or few months. But 3 months in, you can see that they are communicating better. They're able to use digital tools. They're able to lead and handle things. 1 year in, you can even assign a project to them and not have to worry. You can definitely just see the growth. And now somebody that was suicidal now has something that they can wake up to every day. They have money. I think one of the things for me is knowing that you'll be paying someone a salary and you think, oh, this salary is so small. What are they even? But that's what you can afford. But for them, it's such a big deal because now they can send money home. They can maybe save towards school. They can live in a better place. They can pay their rent. They can send money for medicine or even train their siblings in school. And it just creates a lot of dignity. And that for me has been my personal fulfillment that, oh my goodness, I can do this for 20 people,
I know.
even if it's not like significant
Yes.
budget, but
Even though.
Yeah.
That's what, it's really inspiring. It's empowerment at its peak.
Yes.
It
yes,
is.
yes.
But yeah, let's tie this conversation to a global report, which we'll just take a look at now.
Yeah.
Small and medium enterprises make up about 90% of businesses and more than 50% of employment worldwide. Now we can see from this report that entrepreneurship, businesses, they're playing such a critical role. But at the same time, in economy, that is, at the same time, while being so critical, we have a couple of businesses. I don't even want to say most businesses than not, but a couple of businesses that don't survive past the early stages. And you've been in this space for quite some time. So do you want to give us, can you give us some reasons that you've seen, that stop this business from progressing past early stages?
So it's two things. There is the external.
Yeah.
So these are, things that the entrepreneur may not be responsible for or able to change.
Yeah.
And then there is the internal, which is the entrepreneur is responsible for, can change, can implement, can grow.
Yeah.
And this is not just limited to Nigeria. I've worked with businesses maybe across 25 countries.
Yes, we'll even want to have a global.
So government policies, right? How are the policies government is passing affecting the ability for businesses to operate sustainably and profitably? So things, for instance, like when you close the borders or open the borders, what does it mean for local businesses, both those who are operating locally and those who want to export? Quality of education. A successful business is not built by itself. You have to employ people. And a lot of times, the people that you have access to are people around you. So what's the quality of the education that the poorest person in a country can access? That contributes tangibly to economic stability. Because if you don't have people who are educated, properly educated, what will be the quality of service that they are able to provide in workplaces? Malnutrition, interestingly, I know that it may not be interlinked, but what a child eats up to the age of year 5 pretty much marks the rest of their lives, right? So we're talking about like the Olodo uprising. A lot of it is people not being fed eggs or iodine when they were younger. Now you're older, you struggle to concentrate, you struggle to learn, you're malnourished, key nutrients that your body needs is not there.
That's another angle, really.
And that feeds into even the quality of businesses that we're building, the quality of staff that you have access to. Again, this is not something that the employer is responsible for, right? But things also like infrastructure. I made it with the other day about infrastructure as lever for ease of doing business. Good roads, electricity, street lights, security go a long way to influence how successful or not a business is and how many jobs that they are able to create. Policies around things that influences access to finance. There was a country that I was working with, and most of the businesses could not get to the next stage of the program because they were struggling to open bank accounts for their businesses. I mean, for us in Nigeria, it's a very straightforward thing, but for them, it was just a lot of things that they had to submit and a lot of people that they had to go through. Even for us locally, bringing it home, how is it for a business building in the food industry, for instance, to get their NAFDAC, right? And a lot of times if they don't have NAFDAC, it means that they can't export. And if your business starts exporting, maybe you go from hiring 3 people to now hiring 7 people because you need to produce more. You need people providing services. So the government's part in terms of infrastructure and policy goes a long way to affect or influence how well or not a business does. And then for the businesses themselves, it goes back to that capacity building. How well do you know your numbers? Are you making data-driven decision. I've worked with people who will tell you, oh, my business is doing well, we make sales every day. And then you sit down and you look at the numbers and you realize you're making sales, but you're not profitable. You're not managing your debts properly. You have cash flow issues. Your working capital management is off. And what this means is you're operating today, but I give you 1 year, your business, or 3 years at most, your business is going to shut down. Leveraging tools. We are in the season of like AI and technology. How does this affect your industry or your business, and how can you even leverage it to enhance the businesses and the service or the products that you're able to offer? Like, even on my way here, I was thinking, oh, I need to go and learn how to use a particular AI tool, because there's some work that I'll be doing in the coming weeks that is I know it at the granular level, but somebody who is using AI will most likely do that work in 30 minutes, whereas it may take me 2 days, you know. So learning, constantly improving yourself, building the right system or structure around your enterprise as well. So in terms of people management, ensuring that you're investment ready, because one of the things that hinders success is lack of capital. But when you're investment ready, you have the right financial management system, you understand your market, your industry, you're leveraging digital tools, it significantly contributes to your ability to build a successful enterprise.
I must tell you, Yemisi, this is a thought-provoking response, because it's how you managed to bring different social issues to buttress your point. And it's not something that we necessarily think about like that. So I'm glad that you're able to bring the media, social media. I'm glad that you're able to bring in nutrition. I'm glad that you're able to bring in governance, you know, infrastructure. You know, just marry them together to really bring your point. That is really, really thought-provoking. I myself would be thinking about this even after the program. But yeah, just before we let you go, because we are at the end of the program. But just before we let you go, I'd like you to leave our viewers with something. Let me not even say the viewers. Let me talk about that person, that entrepreneur that is waiting for the right time, or waiting for the right resources, waiting for the right grant. What's one thing you want to leave them with? You can look into the camera.
Okay. So something that I've learned as a business owner, perhaps in the last 8 years, is that you succeed by just going, taking one small step every day. So while you're waiting for that big breakthrough, ask yourself, what can I do today? What do I know? What do I have? And how can I use it today? If you wake up every day, you ask yourself that question, and beyond just answering, you actually take that small step, no matter what it is. It could be posting on social media. It could be speaking to a mentor. It could be signing up for an accelerator program so that you can get business advice. It could be getting a business coach, right? It could be renting that venue or buying that machine so that you can start producing. What can I do today? And then doing it. And then tomorrow, small, consistent step. Don't worry too much about the things that you do not have control about, and just focus on stewarding what you currently know, what you can do, and what you have. And in a few years' time, you'll look back and you'll be very grateful that you did not wait for the perfect moment to take the first step.
Just as I am very grateful that you came on this show. This has been such an insightful conversation.
Ruth.
Very valuable conversation. See why I was looking forward to it. Thank you so much for doing this with us. The future of our economies will depend not only on innovation, but on inclusion. Because ensuring that more people have equitable access to finance, markets, and opportunities is not just good for business, but also essential for sustainable development. Until next time, let's keep the conversation going. I'm Ruth Joshua, and this has been EmpowHer.